Welcome back. You know, we've all been there in a toxic work environment, a place where the culture isn't the best, and Pollack Peacebuilding is the largest workplace conflict consulting firm in the U.S., providing conflict interventions, trainings, and coaching to companies all around the country. Here in studio with us today is CEO Jeremy Pollack for an illuminating conversation on how to better workplace culture. Glad to have you here, man. Let's talk.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
This conversation is one that I love and I enjoy having because so many of us, and I am sure there are hundreds of people watching right now that are currently in bad work environments.
Yeah.
Dare I say toxic work environments and don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Coupled with leadership that doesn't know how to lead and prevent these. Where do we begin?
Yeah, well, you said it. I mean, leadership is at the top. I mean, culture starts from the top down for sure. So a lot of times people get promoted or they get brought into leadership positions and they're not trained to be leaders, unfortunately. They're just sort of, hey, they're good at their job, so let's promote them, but they're not actually trained to be leaders, and that's a big part of what they have to do now. It's like 50% is what they used to do, and now 50% is actually managing and leading people.
There's a nuance to dealing with the day-to-day when it comes to people. We're not all the same. Not one size fits all with personality, right? It's this interesting dynamic. So, okay, what are two things that, let's start with, employers can do, just employers can do to create a better work culture?
Yeah, absolutely. So two things that are really important. Number one, consistency. Consistency and behavior and language. So we don't want to show up to work and people wonder what version of me is going to show up. The second thing is decision making, inclusive decision making. So when we make decisions that are going to affect people, that are going to maybe disrupt people's work lives, we want to make sure that we bring people's voices into those decisions so we can hear what their feedback is, et cetera, and potentially, if we can't bring them in to get those decisions made, if we can't include them in the decision-making process, then what we ought to do is at least be very transparent about why we made the decision and how we came to that decision.
Being seen in a multitude of different ways, from having an open door policy to me being able to send an email saying, hey, I have a concern about this, and getting a response that is supportive, screams volumes of value in the workplace.
Yeah.
People feel undervalued.
Yeah.
And that just permeates and creates another toxic work environment situation of I'm going to do less because I'm seen as less.
Yeah, well, if people don't feel like they have a voice, they don't feel like they have any agency, they don't feel seen, absolutely, they're gonna check out. There's this thing called quiet quitting these days. So it's like
yes.
they just sort of check out. I'm going to do the bare minimum, and then do nothing else. And that's not the kind of work environment, and that's not the kind of team that we want.
Conflict avoidance is also big because of the, I would say, I'm sure people at home would agree with this, the stereotype that you may get from being the squeaky wheel. And people may shy away from conflict because conflict is always uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we also need to realize that great change can come from conflict, having those tough conversations. How do we broach those conversations?
Well, first of all, you hit the nail on the head. So it's really important that we start reframing conflict. Conflict can be a catalyst for growth. If we let conflict go on and on without processing it, without talking about it, then it can really be an escalated sort of emotionally charged conflict. But if we address it right away, it can be a catalyst for growth, for innovation, for healthy relationships, et cetera. So it's really important.
Where can we go to get those tools with Pollack Peacebuilding?
Yeah, you can come to our website, pollackpeacebuilding.com. You can also check out my book, The Conflict Resolution Playbook, got it on Amazon. Those are probably the main places.